Hi there, welcome to BB True Crime. I'm Beth, that's Becky.
It is.
Welcome to
Episode 15.
episode 15.
The big 1-5.
1-5. This is a very short episode, so I apologise, but it is what it is.
To be fair, you guys had a really long one last time,
Yeah,
so
that's
give us a
true.
break.
So, we're going to crack right onto it. It was Becky's turn again to pick.
Yes, it was.
She has no idea what is going to go down in this case.
I just heard the word Axeman and I was like, that one.
Yeah. And you know what? It is about a man with an axe.
Is it?
It is.
I thought he had a samurai sword.
It is. It was not like a tease. It is exactly what it sounds like.
Excellent.
Yeah.
For those of you who are still confused, it is the New Orleans Axeman.
It is the Axeman of New Orleans.
There we go.
So,
I've been informed that there's some funny content in this, and I am here for it.
Don't get me wrong, there is murder. There is.
Yeah, but there's also
with an
like,
axe.
entertaining
But
stuff.
This one is, it's a short and slightly... The killer was
Fruity.
an interesting fellow.
Interesting fellow.
I am just gonna assume it's a man. I am assuming the gender. And also, and I hate to do it to you guys and to my dear Becky.
Oh God.
It's unsolved.
Oh, that's why you said assuming the gender. They don't know who the Axeman is.
The Axeman of New Orleans has never been caught to this day.
Well, congratulations, Axeman.
Yeah.
On a successful killing spree.
Probably would be dead by now. But you never know, depending on how life worked for him. I believe they
When
will
did
be
this
dead.
happen?
Early 1900s. So I think
he's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But could have been only just. Again, they were never caught.
Honey, 1911. You're forgetting the fact that
Yeah, but
two
we don't
world
know.
wars have happened since then. He
Yeah.
might have died overseas.
You never know. But
I hope he did.
I do believe he is dead. But we'll get there.
If you're old enough to swing an axe,
Well, the age wasn't specified. It wasn't even
at
guessed.
least, let's say he's 10. At least.
Okay, we're not doing that.
He would be
Right.
over 120 by now.
Well, I don't know how old the oldest man is to live, so I know it's over 100, so fuck you.
111. And he's Indian, he's not American.
You don't know that. He might have been Indian. He probably wasn't, but anyway. So
Why are you like this?
Just built different. So, the
It's an
Axeman of New
excuse.
Orleans was an American serial killer. So he did kill, in fact, more than 3 people.
Ah,
And
good
he
for
was...
him.
People did die. So,
That is
yeah.
bad Axeman.
So, he was active in New Orleans, Louisiana, and the surrounding communities, including a place called Gretna,
Okay.
from May 1918 to 1 year later, October 1919. So he was only active for a year, but he did kill a few people in that time.
Okay.
And then he just disappeared after that. Just vanished. No trace since.
1919 was after the First World War.
I think so, yeah. So, the information on the case, there's not much on it,
Mm-hmm.
if I'm being honest.
Probably hence why it's unsolved.
Yeah, which doesn't help. Again, several conspiracy theories, like our last episode, Rip Kennedy.
Oh, man. The inconsistencies.
And his brain.
And the wife holding
all
the
of that.
brain.
Right, moving on. This is not the Kennedy episode. So, the press report that during the height of this public panic about the killings,
Okay.
similar murders were sort of looked at before the official ones. So
So they were starting to see whether he had some, like, practice ones before he
Yeah.
got to his groove.
but they could never really disclose or link him properly to those.
Okay.
So
The findings were inconclusive.
all we have are the for sure ones.
Okay.
But he probably did kill more.
I mean, yeah, most serial killers very rarely only kill the ones that...
Yeah, exactly. There usually is more.
Yeah.
But yeah, it really got people freaked in the New Orleans area. They
It's
were
understandable.
They were not happy about this man with an
And
axe.
I quote, Axeman.
He does. Actually, he didn't even own the axes.
Oh, didn't I? Don't tell me
He
he
didn't.
stole the axes.
Kind of.
Are they fire axes?
Similar murders started as early as 1911.
Okay.
So that's like 7 years prior. So
that is.
Again, he could have just been on it for a while.
So that could be an 8-year streak as opposed to a 1 year that he's attributed to.
Exactly. So I wouldn't really be surprised.
Man's been busy.
Especially if he never got caught. I'm assuming he had some practice to not get caught.
Yeah, that's true. Warm-ups.
Yeah. But recent researchers obviously have called the reports into the similar murders into question. But obviously we'll never know. Man was never caught.
Guess we'll never know.
Not a lot of evidence.
Oh, great.
It's a very, not really, there's not a lot of information on it, even from the time period. So that doesn't help.
Awesome. I love that for us.
It doesn't also help us trying to identify who the killer even was nowadays.
Great.
So we'll probably never know.
Another one.
So the Axeman, like I said, was never identified.
Okay.
The murders do remain unsolved. He mainly targeted Italian immigrants and Italian Americans. So, yeah, very specific.
How unfortunate to be an Italian in New Orleans.
Yeah, so there was the possibility of, mafia or, like, race being involved in it, motive-wise. This leaves the possibility open to the killings, like I said, that were racially motivated, but the killer was never caught.
Possible.
It can't be proven. So we can only speculate.
Oh, we love speculation.
Yeah. So, the victims.
Yes.
Obviously were attacked with an axe.
No.
Yes.
Really? Shocking.
But he would steal the victims' axes and attack them and kill them with their own axes. And leave them there.
I mean, I guess it's a good way to not leave a trail, isn't it?
Yeah. So, it got to a point where people would start hiding their axes. Because they were like, oh, he's gonna kill me with the axe. Did not stop anything. So, like I said, he would steal their own axes and, yak them with it.
I would just like to say I'm really glad that having an axe in your home is no longer a common thing.
Yeah, it seemed in New Orleans at that time, everyone had an axe. Like, everyone had an axe.
I don't understand, especially
not
in
even
the
a
city.
Little axe, a big ass fucking fire axe, just out and about for some reason.
Baffled.
Yeah. So he also would take a panel out of the back door of the houses, with a chisel. And then he would leave the panel that he'd removed outside, next to the door. So that would be his entry and exit. The intruder...
That's nasty.
Yeah. He focused on couples. He would attack one or more of the residents with either an axe, or if they got to the point where they were hiding their axes, he'd just use a straight razor. So they were like, oh, I've hid my axe.
I'm safe.
Yeah.
Let's leave the cutthroat razor on the side in the bathroom.
He's not going to attack me with anything. Wrong.
Very wrong.
Wrong. Still gonna. The crimes...
My dad has a straight razor.
Well, does he have an axe? Probably.
Yes. And a machete.
Well, luckily we're not in New Orleans.
Praise
it's not
Jesus.
1918, so you know what?
Praise Jesus, because my father would be at risk.
He would. Quite strongly. Is he Italian?
No,
thank God. Okay, that's good. That removes him a little bit.
He's a good old Jewish boy.
Oh, that's all right then. That's fine. Oh, he'd probably be fine. Maybe. So the crimes were actually,
reassuring.
Even though we don't know if they were racially motivated, we know that robbery was not the motivation.
Yeah.
The murderer did not take or steal anything.
Okay, so it was
he just went in,
violence motivated.
Yeah, hit him with the axe, got back out.
No souvenirs taken.
No.
Nothing. Okay.
Or at least nothing that they ever noticed.
Okay.
You know, obviously serial killers do often take trophies, but
yeah,
we don't know. And if he did, they didn't notice whatever he took. So,
I mean, serial killers can take things that are so inconsequential that you don't even notice them, can't they? Like,
true, but also, like I said, like the case was very like not recorded very well.
Okay, again.
So he might have. They just didn't maybe write it down.
Or they didn't.
Or they just didn't see it. So, yeah.
Or it just didn't occur to them that he might have taken something of non-financial value.
Yeah, especially at that time.
You know, the understanding of serial killers wasn't exactly at its peak at this point, was it?
Yeah, no, even the term serial killer wasn't really used much back then at all.
It was after the 40s, wasn't it? The serial killers became a thing?
It was probably 60s, 70s that it started becoming popular. That's when the rise of them started.
Because they just used to call them murderers and outlaws, didn't they?
Yeah. So, like I said, no robbery.
Okay.
Many of the media outlets sensationalized the racial part of the crimes, obviously, even suggesting that the mafia could have been involved, despite there was no evidence that the mafia was involved.
Why
but they were like,
mafia be involved in killing Italians?
I don't know, maybe the Italians did something wrong to them. I don't know. But
the Italians sold them a lousy second-hand car.
The mafia got involved, apparently, but not really. Some crime analysis have suggested that the killings may have been related to sex, that the murderer was perhaps a sadist, specifically seeking female victims. Like I said, he killed couples.
She's very Richard Ramirez.
Yeah, that's what it reminded me of. So criminologists Colin and Damien Wilson hypothesized that the Axeman killed male victims only when they obstructed his attempts to murder the women.
Okay.
This was supported by the cases in which the woman of the household was murdered, but not the man. A less plausible theory is that the killer committed the murders in an attempt to promote jazz music.
Do you want to explain to me how jazz music becomes relevant to Axeman in the middle of... Don't get me wrong, I get that New Orleans is like the jazz blues music center of the world.
Listen, the Axeman really loved jazz, like really, really loved jazz.
Emphasizing that a lot.
Really he loved jazz back in shit.
Fuck me, woman.
So
chill out.
But I just don't feel like his killing was to promote jazz music.
I feel like that's a red herring.
I just feel like he disliked jazz music greatly.
Yeah.
Like
maybe
a lot,
jazz music got him into the mood.
Or I don't know. But I don't think he was trying to promote jazz music. I just think he really liked it.
Okay.
This was...
Now we've enjoyed that little nugget.
Like I said, it was a less plausible theory, but it is suggested by a letter attributed to the killer.
Oh, is this the letter you were telling? Oh, God.
In which he stated that he would spare the lives of those who played jazz in their homes. So he gave them a specific day that he was going to go on his Axeman prowl, and he was like,
if you don't play jazz music,
I will come for you and I will kill you. So what people did is, obviously, they were, like, terrified of this man, obviously. Like, everyone was terrified of him. So everyone, and they obviously broadcasted this, like, in media as well, and they published the letter. So everyone knew about this. So everyone was terrified, and they were like, okay, we need to play jazz music in our houses really loud. So people either, at this date and time, played really, really loud jazz music in their house all night. Just sat there terrified, just being like, I hope this works.
Yeah.
Or people were that terrified because they didn't own any jazz music or something to play jazz music on, that they went to the little, like, pubs and bars to sit in there while they played jazz music. And they just sat there all night like, I don't know if this counts. But we're playing jazz music. I don't own jazz music. I prefer a bit of rock and roll, me.
Can you imagine being like, jazz music? I don't have jazz music.
Where do I go?
And then being like, I'm gonna go to the bar.
Apparently the bars were packed. The jazz music was heard on the streets all night long. No murders happened that night. So I don't know if he was just trolling them.
He might have been.
Or if he was just really walking about the streets like, oh, look at all this jazz.
We're gonna be like, ooh, and all that jazz.
You know, dancing down the streets. The police are probably also in the bars. I don't know what the police were doing at this time. Probably hiding as well, playing jazz. That's probably why they just didn't go outside and just see him with his little axe, just having a little
jazz
groove.
handing down the. No, remember, he won't have an axe because he gets it from the people.
Shit,
Yeah.
Just one lone man.
No, but what if he was sat in the bar? With everybody else.
No, he had to make sure everyone was playing jazz, so he would have been out and about.
No, because if it was me, yeah, I'd say that, and then I'd go to a bar and I'd sit there and I'd watch everybody be terrified playing this jazz music
and
really
you're just
loudly.
there with your fucking drink. Just...
Yeah, it's just great.
This is funny.
This is great because then you could watch them being trolled.
Yeah, the thing is, I don't know if it was serious or not, but either way, what we do know is that on that night,
there were no
one
murders.
died, so... yeah, so I find that hilarious.
That's beautiful.
So, like I said, yeah, the Axeman was never caught or identified. His crime spree actually stopped as mysteriously as it started. Just randomly one day, no more Axeman murders.
Maybe he died.
The murderer's identity remains unknown, though possibilities of varying plausibility have been proposed.
Okay.
On March 13th, 1919, so when his killing stopped.
1919 for those.
A letter, apparently from the Axeman, obviously, like I said, was published in newspapers. And that was about the play jazz or you die incident.
Play jazz or you die.
So, that is about the most we know of the murders.
What, that's it?
Pretty much,
Jesus.
Yeah. There are obviously some victims' names and stuff, but because there's so little evidence and so little reports, and the fact that we don't know if he was linked to these murders before 1918, it's very
they died,
dry.
But it's very up in the air as to whether the Axeman was involved.
Because the thing is, there was loads of theories that at that time maybe similar murders were happening and it could have been the work of this other guy, like copycat sort of thing. So they were like, how do we know these people were actually killed by the Axeman?
Yeah.
Maybe it was the other one. So that's why I'm not going to mention any victims' names in this, because we don't know for definite.
Yeah.
So either way, he was a serial killer, did kill more than 3, did spice up the New Orleans area in 1918.
With all that jazz.
So, with all the jazz.
Yeah.
So now, I have the letter.
Oh, please read me the letter.
I have the letter.
Please.
That is going to tell you to play jazz or you die.
Okay, thank you. Please, go for it.
And it's the most dramatic letter you're ever going to hear in your life.
Okay. I've heard some good ones, so this has got to be a good...
He enjoys himself. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay.
So,
alright, come on. Hit me.
We start off with the location of where he's writing from.
Okay.
Hell.
Obviously. Yes. Obviously.
Obviously. March 13th.
Okay.
1919.
Got it.
Esteemed mortal.
Esteemed mortals.
Powerful start.
Strong one.
They have never caught me. And they never will. This is a dramatic reading if you could not tell. They have never seen me. For I am invisible. Even as the ether that surrounds your earth. I am not a human being, but a spirit, and a demon from the hottest hell.
Hottest hell?
The hottest hell.
Hottest.
Not just the mild hell.
Not just average hell.
The hottest
Not even
hell.
gay hell.
No.
The hottest
the
hell.
Hottest hell. I am what you Orleanians and your foolish police call the Axeman.
Shit. Okay.
When I see fit, I shall come and claim other victims. I alone know whom they will be. I shall leave no clue except my bloody axe, besmeared with blood and brains of he whom I have sent below to keep me company.
Sent below? That sounds vaguely sexual.
Well, yeah, but you know, he's from hell, so...
Clearly. The hottest hell,
the hottest hell. He sent them to the hottest hell to keep him company down there.
But he's up here.
Don't question it. Don't question it. Well, that's clearly why the murder stopped. He went back down.
Clearly he had enough of a posse.
Yeah,
he was like, that's enough for me, lads.
He got enough people, went down back. Right. If you wish.
Oh god.
Yeah, it continues.
Oh god.
Yeah, that's not it.
Oh, Jesus.
You may tell the police to be careful not to rile me. Of course, I am a reasonable spirit. Of course.
Obviously, that's why you're murdering people.
I take no offense at the way they have conducted their investigations in the past.
Probably because it's shit.
Yeah. In fact, they have been so utterly stupid
Fair.
as to not only amuse me,
Yeah.
but His Satanic Majesty, Francis Joseph, etc. But tell them to beware. Let them not try to discover what I am. Not who I am, what I am.
What? Well, yeah, because he's Satan.
He's not a Satan.
Sorry, he's an evil spirit. He's a demon. He's a demon,
yes.
My bad, sorry.
Let them not try to discover what I am, for it were better that they were never born than to incur the wrath of the Axeman. I don't think there is any need of such a warning, for I feel sure the police will always dodge me, as they have in the past. They are wise and know how to keep away from all harm. Undoubtedly, you Orleanians think of me as the most horrible murderer, which I am.
He's like shocked, disgust, but I am.
Love that line. Love that.
Is great.
But I could be much worse if I wanted to.
How? I don't want to answer that. Don't answer that.
If I wished, I could pay a visit to your city every night. At will, I could slay thousands of your best citizens, for I am in a close relationship with the Angel of Death.
Are they like close relations? Are they like
together or like,
friends with benefits?
Do
they have an arrangement?
I'm not gonna question the Axeman, alright, Becky, I'm not. Now, to be exact,
okay.
At 12:15, in brackets, earthly time. Because time goes different in hell. Time is different in hell.
But you gotta remember, yeah, hell's 3 hours behind.
Yeah, oh shit, sorry, yeah. I go there all the time, I would know that. So on earthly time, at midnight.
Yeah.
On next Tuesday night, I am going to pass over, like Santa Claus. You don't say that. New Orleans.
Bro, like the plagues.
Or that, yeah.
Of Egypt.
Okay, fair. I thought Santa, but okay.
Pass over.
Right, let me carry on my bloody letter. It's not my letter, I'd like to clarify.
It is her letter.
I am not the Axeman.
She is the Axeman.
I couldn't write something just so brilliant.
Yes, you could.
I would try. In my infinite mercy, I am going to make a little proposition to you people. Here it is.
I thought it was us mortals.
She's calling you people now.
slipped.
I am very fond of jazz music. Thank you for letting us know. I didn't know.
It would have.
I like jazz, man.
It would have made more sense if he was like, I like corned beef. Leave me corned beef outside your homes.
It's the exact same premise. And I swear by all the devils in the nether regions that every
Those pussy devils.
Yeah, that's all I'm thinking about. I don't know if he's supposed to be referencing hell, but I'm thinking just genitalia.
Pussy devils.
So he's promising on
Pussy
vaginas
devils.
and penises.
No, but the devils that live inside them.
Oh Lord, it's the whole journey.
The devils of the nether regions.
That's true. The devils in the nether region.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
so
fair.
they are pussy devils.
So does that mean we all have devils inside of us?
Maybe that's what our monthlies are.
Oh shit. Yeah, but also in penises, I'm assuming. It says nether regions. Right, anyway. Away from genitalia. So he swears by all the devils in the nether regions that every person shall be spared in whose home a jazz band not just a music piece, but a jazz band is in full swing at the time I have just mentioned. If everyone has a jazz band going, well, then so much the better for you people.
Wow.
One thing is certain, and that is that some of you people who do not jazz it out yes, he did just use the phrase jazz it out. Incredible.
This is definitely a man. No woman would write this.
Absolutely. On that specific Tuesday night, if there will be any, we'll get the axe. Well, as I am cold and crave the warmth of my native Tartarus.
Tartarus.
Whatever. And it is about time I leave your earthly home. I will cease my discourse, hoping that thou wilt publish this, and that it may go well with thee. I have been.
Why is he turning into Shakespeare
I don't
all
know.
of a
I was
sudden?
just thinking that. I was like, what is this shit? This is not
You
how you've been
can't
talking.
You can't say nether regions and jazz it out and
Yeah,
then
exactly,
throw
you
in
say
the
jazz it
B's and
out.
nouns.
And then be like, wilt thou.
Oh
No.
God.
Right. So, hoping that thou, yes, I have been, am, and will be the worst spirit that ever existed, in fact, or realm of fantasy.
Wow.
The Axeman.
Incredible.
I told you it was a journey.
That was a dramatic reading by Beth Tyler of
Thank you.
The Axeman of New Orleans.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. That was a incredible rendition.
I know, it was pretty great.
We look forward to your next piece.
Thank you. Anytime.
You need to do dramatic readings of serial killers' letters more often.
Well, good luck with me trying to read the Zodiac shit. It's all in code. So, final piece to say. Crime writer Colin Wilson speculates that the Axeman could have been a man called Joseph Monfrey, a man who was shot to death in LA in December 1920 by the widow of Mike Pepitone, who was the Axeman's last known victim.
Oh.
Wilson's theory is that, and it's been widely repeated in other true crime books and websites, the true crime, a different writer, Michael Newton, searched New Orleans and LA public, police and court records as well as newspaper archives, and failed to find any evidence of a man with the name Joseph Monfrey or a similar name having been assaulted or killed in LA. So again, it's very up in the air. That is the strongest sort of suspicion of a person they have, but again, no records of the person can be found.
Monfrey who was killed, reportedly, but then they can find no reportings of the killing.
Oh, and just so you know,
yes,
the wife of the last known murder,
yes,
that apparently shot this man,
yes,
got away with it.
Excellent.
Yeah, so kind of a satisfying end there.
Yeah.
Despite, I mean, I'd like to think that was probably him and that he got killed. So, shame.
I think chances are, if someone goes on a spree that long and that sporadically...
Well, it was only a year, so it wasn't really
only
long.
a year, proven.
Well, yeah, true.
I feel like he wouldn't just drop off the radar right mid-swing.
Yeah, especially with that beautiful, beautiful letter.
Stunning piece of literary work.
I just wish he published more.
I had.
Yeah.
I wish we had a book called The Ramblings of the Axeman of New Orleans.
So I would read that.
I would read that.
5 out of 5.
Absolutely.
10 out of 10
10 out of 10 on Goodreads.
Yeah.
Off we go. 10 out of 10 would recommend.
I don't know what was going on in his head.
I don't want to know what was going on in his head because the outside is funny, the inside was probably very concerning. So I'll leave the inside and I can laugh at this letter instead.
Yeah, it was pretty beautiful. So there you go. That was the Axeman. Never been solved. Beautiful writings.
Incredible writings.
Really likes jazz, if you didn't know. Like, really want, maybe go jazz it out.
Jazz it out, guys. Jazz it out.
Go see a jazz band.
Mm-hmm.
Relive the New
Go put some
Orleans.
jazz music on Spotify.
Yeah, and find a playlist about chilling in hell. I don't know. I might see him.
Absolutely. Make sure it's midnight.
Yeah, on a Tuesday.
On a Tuesday.
Yeah.
Earthly time.
On earthly time.
I don't know which earthly time. I think we'll go with the New Orleans earthly time.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was that. So, you know, if you enjoyed, let us know. If you have requests, let us know.
Please do. I'm always want some new cases.
We do. This is BB True Crime. I'm Beth. That's Becky.
It is Becky, and that is Beth.
And we'll see you next time for episode 16.
And it is Beth's pick, so prepare for something gory, gruesome, and truly disturbing.
It absolutely will be. All right. Go jazz it out, folks.
Never say that again.
Sorry.